We've had a lot happen. I can tell you that for those of you that are not in our meetings, without us, not subscribing and so on, you could have known days ago that all this was going to happen, but you didn't know because you weren't here. And that forecast was for the market to decline into April 4th, plus or minus a day. And I gave out all the numbers, significant, decline into today's session. We've been down to what we talked about, 45.03, but we're talking about this going back to the 29th and 30th, giving this information out for what the market was likely going to do. Now, I will tell you this, so you can follow along. The market is not done, even though it has reached a mildly important level on the downside. Chances are that lower prices are still due into next week, and we've given those lower prices out, and we've said specifically that those lower prices are going to happen, that they will happen. So the best I can tell you is that it gets us into the 4400s and so on. So we're kind of excited about that. And then that, for those of you that have reflected wave, that will trigger a daily reflected wave bottom, and that will set the market into motion for a very important advance. So yeah, a lot, just really an amazing thing. A lot has happened here just over the last 2 days. We've done really well with this decline. And I can show you a portion of it here. This right here, Thursday, 331, the decline from current prices. This was intraday, 4,600, should decline down to 45.51 to 49 into tomorrow. And you can see they went from where we entered this information. This is what the market looked like at the time, something very close to this, and said it was going to go down 50 points. And that's what it did. And of course, the larger decline below that we've talked about in our meetings and so on, and continue to. But we still actually have lower prices coming. I had missed one of the indications, and that indication has us going lower into next week, lower than the lows of today, 45.01.25, into next week with a very specific target on the downside. So I hope you're around next week for that. Well, it should be pretty exciting trading and so on. Today we had some really beautiful stuff. We shorted the market at a number of places. Let me point this out to you here. Let's just go to, say, a 30-minute chart. When the market was rallying over here, I think it was here. During this rally, we were shorting, let me break it down to a 15-minute chart. We were shorting the market, saying that the market shouldn't be able to get above 35, 45, 35. Let's even go to, say, a 10-minute chart. Maybe you can see this a little bit better. And the market swung up to 45, 34, 50. That's where it gets spilled all the way down and did our numbers, which were 12 to 10 and 05. And the market got all the way down to 01. So we've done everything that we were looking for the market to do in today's session. This will be up on our Twitter, this particular forecast, but great stuff because the market rallied pretty strongly in here. And listen, when you're in a trade and you're shorting the market and the market's, running up hard, it takes a little something from you because you have to have the courage of your convictions that the trend is really down and that the market really is going to not go much beyond. They actually didn't even quite hit 35, but you have to be ready for some test of those levels. And it took some time, and it was, it was a little torturous, maybe. It always is. And then suddenly the move happens, and then you're in gear and you start booking gains and so on. This is why it's really important to trade on a multi-contract basis when, if you can. Because you have to take something off at initial targets just to protect the remainder of the trade so that you're not constantly sitting out there with a total position on, even though some people might do very well holding on to all their contracts because they make more money. But judging how to trade correctly is not correctly done by just saying which way makes me the most money. That is not going to serve you well. Just constantly saying, what's the best way that makes me money? What's the best way I protect my position? What's the best way I manage risk? Those kinds of things. What's the best way I target what's going to happen? Those things are going to serve you well. But just simply saying what makes me the most money, which is about 99% of people are thinking, in the traders think that way. They're just simply, which makes me the most amount of money? That's the right answer. And what makes you the most money doesn't have anything to do, in most cases, with what protects your position the most, what manages risk the best, and so on. It just simply, hopefully, in your mind, makes you the most money.